Chicago, Meredith Vieira shows you how it's done.
It is happening in Chicago on the wrong side of the tracks, where the L train pulls up, and there's nothing much to do. The children are dancing, break dancing they call it, inner city kids on a north side playground, ghetto kids in a south side boys club. The movements come from jazz, mime, gymnastics, but the energy comes from the streets.
I don't think about nothing, no problems or nothing, I just feel like dancing.
And that feeling is growing among kids in the projects who live in buildings that look more like cages. They are throwing down cardboard on cold cement and dancing as fast as they can.
Maybe we can, get famous with, be good, great dancers or something. Then we'll have people looking up to us instead of us always looking up to them.
The Boogaloo Bandits have heard about street dancers making it big in New York's ghetto where the whole thing started. And so they practice breaking every day in hopes of one day breaking out.
She think I'm crazy, She said, what you doing? I said, but no. I said, okay, Mom. I said, no, don't take it like that. I said, Mom, it's going to take me out the projects, baby. It's going to take me out.
Luther Aviles may never get out, but for now he is staying out of trouble. All it took was a friend named Juan and time, something Luther has always had too much of.
He's grown up a lot, and it's like he thinks more about dancing. It's not like, oh, well, let's go do this, let's go get into trouble. It's more like, well, come on, let's break.
I just keep on trouble. Hope to keep on trouble.
Breakdancing won't turn the inner city inside out. It may be nothing more than a crazy fad. But these kids say it's the sanest thing to come their way in a long time.
And 50 years later, here we are.
CBS News, Chicago.
1983 news.
You might want to try a few of those steps yourself before you turn in tonight. I'm Charles Osgood, CBS News. Good night.
Yo. Well, I started doing what I do many years ago when the first wave of rap records that came in, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, occurred to them. Because he's one of my idols, because I grew up listening to Curtis Blow. So that shows you that rap has lasted that long. Second generation sitting with the first generation. So it's not just a passing phase. I'm not no hula hoop, you know what I'm saying? And when it happened, the reason I got into rapping, when it happened, well, I always wanted a motorcycle, a mini bike or a motorcycle, because that's what kids wanted back then. And my grandfather, since I lived in a neighborhood where a lot of cars go by and a lot of boulevards, he didn't want to get me a motorcycle. So he compromised me and he bought me about $2,000 worth of stereo equipment, 2 turntables, a mixer, amps, speakers. So I started making my own tapes with the kids in the neighborhood and I started getting them into rap, because I was like the mentor of rap. He was in the neighborhood, Me and Ladies Love Cool J running around. So finally, when I was 15, 16, I made a tape. I sent it in to Rick Rubin. He had a production company called Def Jam Records. He had made it at his NYU dorm. And he formed a company to put out my first single entitled I Need a Beat. That record ended up selling about 100,000 copies and I was on my way. Then when it happened, I had made another single and it didn't do as well. So then, to make Def Jam do real good, Rick and Russell decided to put an album out on me. They needed more power. So they traded Columbia Records talent for business muscle. The long arm of Columbia would push out records wherever they needed to go. So I ended up after that with a platinum album, a movie, Crush Groove, a movie with Goldie Hawn, Wildcats, and that's it, you know what I'm saying? It's on the wall.
LL Cool J, yeah.
I represent to a lot of people, oh, look at these hood bums, they ripped them a fan. You know what I'm saying? This is what I represent, Because I don't wear no shoelaces in my sneakers, because I can take my sneakers off quick and I wear a lot of gold because I didn't have it before and I want to wear it now. And I can afford it. But see, the drug dealers in the neighborhood who used to be idolized and looked up to, little kids see them, they're the only people who can escape the neighborhood. They got the big 500 bands, and they're riding around smiling at everybody, and the little kids look up to them. But now that they're in jail, and now that they're broke, and now that I'm addicted to this, a lot of them are addicted to the same stuff they were selling, the kids are looking up to me, because they see me on American Bandstand with Dick Clark and Soul Train rapping, being cool, wearing a cool hat, walking down the street the same way, but I'm legit. You know what I'm saying?
LL Cool J, give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Hip hop. 1986.
I started as a breakdancer back in 1972. This is before breakdancing really got hot nationally. We were just doing it up in the Bronx and Harlem. And I later on went to high school. Yeah, and I had to follow that beat, that disco beat, because at that time, in 74 and 75, disco was really hot. And the kids uptown in Harlem and the Bronx, they didn't have the money to pay to get into the disco. So what we did was, we made our own parties in the parks. And every Saturday and Sunday, you'd have DJs, and neighborhood DJs would come out and just have jams and have 2,000 kids in the park, and we'd just jam and have breakdancers spinning on their hips and on concrete and everything. It was wonderful, you know. But I had to still follow that pace because I realized and I analyzed that the DJ was the most important guy at the block party because he was the guy who was the center of attraction. He controlled the pace of what was going on. He was the man. So I wanted to become a DJ. So I went to college and I majored in communications and speech broadcasting, and my sidekick hobby was to become a DJ. I got my first job in 1976 at a club called Small's Paradise on 125th Street. Yeah. And then it burned down the next week. At least that's what everybody said. Okay. So later on that year, I got another job at another club called Small's Paradise. Did I say that? Or I said Charles Gallery? All right. Small's Paradise is where I really got hot. I became a popular DJ then. I met all the top guys like Pete DJ Jones and Grandmaster Flowers and Boyer and Plummer, and of course there was Hollywood and Eddie Cheaper and Starsky. And we can't forget the Grandmaster Flash, who I also met in 1977, and we started doing duos together along with Millie Mel, and I finally got a chance to make a record in 1979 by some guys who were writers for Billboard magazine, J.B. Moore and Robert Ford, who became my producers and produced my first 5 albums, and the rest is history. What I want to say to all the guys out there who